Hello and welcome back to Seaside Garage and the full revival story from barn find to actual daily driven classic car. This will probably not be the end of the videos for the BX because Citroëns tend to break from time to time. All cars seem to break from time to time. I have now been driving this for 2 weeks and small stuff are of course needing some adjustment and so on, but overall this is doing brilliant. I got this car actually from doing a tour of my garage. The local Citroën club asked if they could look around and I gave them a guided tour of all my rusty projects. Then one of the guys came up to me and said, "You look like someone who needs another project." And I was just like, "I've just told you that I have so many projects and no time to fix them, no money to fix them. So of course I need another project." And he had this one. And he offered me to buy it for what is actually pretty much the price to scrap it. So if I just went to the local scrapyard, I would get the same amount that I had to pay for this. So it was a no-brainer, for me at least. I went ahead and bought it. I was supposed to drive it home on a trailer, but that plan failed because of so extremely complicated rules for towing stuff in Denmark. So I ended up just bringing my testing number plates. And after doing a bit of an inspection on it, I decided that it wouldn't be completely crazy to try to drive it home. And after fitting all the lighting and making sure all of that stuff was working, I decided to fire it up to see if the plan was completely hopeless. It's been off the road for many years, but it seems to be quite healthy. It even raised up, and I decided to give it a go and drive it home. So the first issue on the journey home was getting that to work, and by turning it on and then just manually swinging the wiper blade from side to side, we got it to move a little bit and we oiled up the axle down there, and slowly it started to actually move under its own power. So I'm driving home in my new to me Citroën BX 1.4. Absolutely the most basic, I think pretty much the most basic Citroën BX that you could get. I got a speedometer, I got a fuel gauge, I got a clock, and that's it. Do I have a radio? Yeah, there is a radio. I'm gonna give a full tour of this car once I get it home. One of you guys pointed out that I was missing something right here. This is the sort of things that I don't notice. But I still have a box of chocolate, which I call the box that is left after reviving a car. There's always a box of random stuff that is just like, does it belong to this car? Is it? Or anyway, these were in there and I wasn't really sure what that was, but of course that is probably what I was missing right around here. I'm not sure if I can get it on without lowering it down a bit. Maybe I can. But anyway, I drove the car home and then I need to take at least the light out. But yeah, I drove it home, and because I am a bit of an idiot, well, scratch that, I'm not a total idiot because I did wait until I got home. But the first thing I did when I got home was to put it in high, in suspension mode, and then low, and then of course something burst underneath. And I had a massive LHM pool dripping out of this car. It turned out to be a repair of a return line that wasn't done very nicely or very well. Well, it was made probably 15 years ago, so maybe it's okay. Did I just open the hatch with those up there? Now, where did it go? Where did I put the trim? Ah, over here. Anyway, the next video in this series was a overall check of the state of the condition of this car. And it will probably never stop to surprise me how much stuff will not be seen when you do a check over. And I have been doing this kind of stuff for 10 years now, fixing up old barn finds, and I always do a check and see what needs to be done. And still I always get a little bit surprised about all the stuff that I miss. The first check on this car revealed a very easy project. I think I found around 4 spots of rust repairs needed and so on. A little bit down here at the sills. But it's honestly not looking too bad. I am not too scared. Scratch that, there is a bit right there. But it's not too bad. On the other side though, I have a problem. Unfortunately, this has had a bit of a fender bender, I think is the correct name for that. This is very, very folded. Not rusty, but very folded. The rest of it is also in good condition, but a bit scraped. But no rust either in it. But I think this will be close to impossible to fix and make look nice at least. It could be fun to try to pull it out, but I don't think it will be a success. These are bolted on, so I think the best thing would be to find another front wing, also to get rid of that dent, and then paint it and hopefully get a decent color match. This is one of the areas that needs some attention, because if I open this, I do have this rust hole to do something about. At first glance it looks all right on the inside though, so maybe it's just this hole that needs to be patched up. Take a look at the bottom of the doors, they are pretty decent. And then I parked up the car. I wasn't really planning on fixing this, but then winter arrived and I realized I had to do something about my economy, and I decided to try to sell the W123, which hasn't happened yet though, which I'm both happy about and sad about. It's actually primarily my wallet that is sad about that part. But anyway, I decided to fix up this because it could be a very, very cheap daily classic. It's not possible for me to drive anything else than classics. For some reason I just get depressed instantly. So, but this is a nice match. It's supposed to get pretty decent mile per gallon or kilometers per liter or whatever you calculate in. It's not really returning that just yet, but it's better than the Benz, and it's a cheap car to drive, and I got it for the scrap price pretty much. So a bit later I decided to start the fixing of this project, and I brought it into the garage. And from start to finish it took around a month, and I spent quite a lot of time that month doing rust repairs. So let's get this car up in the air and check it once again for the rust primarily, and what else I need. For instance, I can see new brake discs are needed. Then there is also a pretty obvious hole right there. That's gonna have to be fixed also. There's also a hole up there. And some in the bumper right there. It's quite a bit worse on this side. But it looks pretty simple to fix, so I'm not too worried about that. There is what looks to be a patch right there that needs to be checked at least. The worst part, or the one that I'm fearing the most, is what I found in the previous video right there. That hole. I don't think it's too bad to fix, but it's more about getting to the actual repair. That could be a problem. Maybe I can get it for... Oh, wait a minute. I hadn't noticed that in the previous check of this car. That's pretty ruddy up there. I can get to it okay from this side, but I really wonder if this is worth the hassle to try to fix with the rear axle or the rear subframe in place. If I remove that, I will get a lot better access to the point in there. So I'm gonna remove that subframe to get access to the rust. That's the worst thing about this project, I think. So I think I'm gonna tackle that firstly and then enjoy all of the rest. Yeah, I'm gonna need a new rear back box. It's dead, it's completely dead. I'm just gonna undo this one slightly to open up and remove the system pressure. I'm not sure this is actually necessary to do, but this way I can be sure that the pressure won't suddenly, like if I press the brake pedal or something like that, that the pressure won't just fly out the open hoses in the rear. So after a bit of welding and some more grinding, this is the result I'm at right now. Like this. The correct rubber seems to be very expensive and hard to find, but a normal exhaust rubber will also fit in this and will do the same job. So, but what I'm doing right now is to just give it the first coat of paint on the repaired area. Here we have the patch. It will just fit nicely like this. A bit of heat later. This is the result. Not the prettiest spot weld right now. I had a gas issue, but other than that, it is plenty strong at least. So now I want to make the closing panel for this piece. Then just pull it out a bit. Something like this I think would be alright. So it's starting to look like something. So it's starting to look like something. And I can start to cut that down. So the repair panel is ready, it's painted. It's ready to be fitted. There we go, and now I need to do a lot of grinding. Be back in a sec. So this is the one that I want to recreate. It's completely rotted. I went ahead and made this template into a piece of wood and then just clamp it down using these. There we go. So this is the panel. It's a bit rough in the edges, but it doesn't really matter much. It's ready to be installed on the car, but the place it needs to go on the car is also rusty, so I'm gonna go ahead and tackle that. And then I have a big gaping hole in the car. Woohoo! So I'm gonna weld this piece in. and then take it back. So, jump cut. I got a repair piece in. I need to do some sealing on the inside. I just painted it quickly and gave it some seam sealer on the seam. It's solid. Oh, did I already weld this? No, I did not, but I made a template already in the correct color in the hopes that will help. So I'm gonna make this piece into metal and then weld that piece in. Like this. So this now fits. Well, it should have fit. Yeah, it's alright. With the rust cut out of the piece, what I want to do next is to just loosely fit it where it's supposed to go. I'm going to take my repair panel and fit that. Clamp it together with my hands, remove it, and then I can draw on the inside. And then I'm gonna cut this part away, taking a wire's width off also. Then this part should fit like this. Let's just recheck. There we go, it is ready. Patched it up, painted it on the inside. Now I'm gonna go ahead and weld that in. This is it. It's welded on. Need to seam seal it and paint it, of course. The same goes in here. Seam sealer and paint, of course. I'm gonna cut this into this piece. And then I'm just gonna outline that. Weld! There we go. It's grinded down. Still need a little bit of filler, but it's definitely not too bad. Something like this. I'm gonna make this piece and weld that in. So this is where I'm gonna stop concentrating on this area. It's not pretty down here, but it is hidden by the panel, so the most important bit is to get it protected. So overall I think the repair turned out alright. There's a panel coming in. Whoop! That will hide most of it. It will be resting somewhere like this. It looks alright. I think I can start to weld this in slowly. So it's welded in. Need to give it some paint. I still need to weld in the support I made last time and make a small fix down here, but I'm getting there. Oh yeah, it's coming. And when it's just a little bit, maybe put this plastic bit in here. Continue to apply heat. Now I really don't want to damage the paint or the plastic bit. Yeah, there we go. It's coming off. It's off. There we go. Ah! I will be attempting to make this repair panel, and I'm just going to take a piece of metal and see how well I can form it. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, that's all right. Follow this out like this. This seems pretty nice. And then I'm just going to roll the edge right here. And then there is quite a few bends actually going on. And I can't see completely how they are supposed to go. But I would presume that this goes down like this. So somewhere around this line it will disappear. Like this. So it's getting there. I'll cut this away. So the piece is cut down a bit. And hopefully it will line up. So now this should be a pretty decent fit that I can form along the way. And there we go. It is fixed. And I think it turned out pretty decent. Of course the edge didn't align perfectly over here, so the pretty much only visible place is not that pretty. But I do like the rest of it. After some paint and so on, it would look pretty good. There we go. What I want to start with is to make this. I've already made a piece of thick metal that fits right there. So first weld is in. Here we go. It might not look as much, but I'm very happy about this repair. I really like the way that it turned out. I'm gonna grind it down a little bit, not that it matters much because it's not a visible place. There is inner liners and so on. Oh, it's perfect. And this is a bit later. I'm sorry I didn't catch the full process. This camera, I got a couple of cameras, and this is the one that I use when I'm welding. Very close at least, because spatter will go to the lens and I don't want to destroy all my cameras. But it tends to overheat from time to time and it will just shut off. Yeah. This will be the end of the rust repairs on this car. So as you saw, much of this area was recreated. This is a patch. Beneath this is a patch. There's a patch in beneath that as well, and the rear axle was off, as you probably saw. This part in here has been reconstructed. It's still not very pretty. I haven't dressed it up very nicely, but thanks to Matthias from Sweden who sent me parts, it was a pretty easy repair, to be honest. But there was a lot of those stuff around this car. And Matthias also sent me a new front wing that I have fitted because the old one was so dented. The paint match, not great. But in daily use I don't notice it, to be honest. It's not that bad. On camera it tends to pick up a little bit worse than I think it is, but yeah, it is what it is. I gave the engine a service, a new cam belt, plugs, wires has also been changed. Not much more than that. The car only got 81,000 kilometers on the clock, so it's very, very low miler, so I haven't done so much about it. I'm not going to make more videos about rust fixes on this. That at least is not my plan, because there's not really anything left. But what I want to do in this video is servicing the engine. It got these lines and it feels just a little bit stretched. It's probably fine, but I'm going to change it because I won't be able to sleep at night otherwise. Bottom like that. Everything seems nice, the belt is tight. I'm going to tighten up the belt tensioner until I can twist it just about 90 degrees on the tight side. Nice. But hey, it looks pretty nice with that trim piece, other than the fact that it's completely grey. Let's try to see if I can do something about that. Fixing up this car has been such a satisfying thing to do, because to be honest, there's a big chance that this would have ended up in the scrap pile if I didn't get it. It's just a lot of work, so unless you really think it's fun to do, it's not a good idea. It's not economically a great thing to fix up this, because when everything is paid, everything is fixed, and the number plate has been bought and all that, I could maybe earn a little bit on this car, but it won't be much. But I have a great car now for very little money, and that's really nice. That's looking pretty smart, I think. Nice. I'm going to do the same on the other side. A Citroën BX is a fun classic, but one thing that makes it really nice and special, comparing it to other cars, wow, this is quite stuck, is the suspension. The hydro-pneumatic suspension of the Citroëns is also in this one. It's a bit more simple than, for instance, CX or XM and so on. It's a very basic setup, and it's not as soft as other Citroëns. It's a bit of a mix between a normal handling car, like a 205 or 309 Peugeot or something like that, and then a Citroën, which is a very good mix, I think. I like the big old soft Citroëns, but sometimes it can be a bit too soft. This is a great in-between. You get all the really nice things about the hydropneumatic suspension, the ability to overlook a bump, for instance, without being completely shocked by the entire car. It really takes up speed bumps really nicely. I'm not saying it's good for speeding, but it is. So what I decided to really spend some money and time on was the suspension. So I ended up changing all the spheres. I haven't done anything to the piping, because this car luckily already got a set of stainless steel hydraulic lines, because that is one of the things that kills these Citroëns off when they start to just get leaks all over the place, and then you go to a local shop and get it fixed, and then the next leak comes, and then the next leak comes, and so on, and it's just, it gets very expensive quickly. So yeah, but changing all those spheres has transformed the ride of this, and it drives really, really nice. It's really lovely. This is gonna make a big difference to the comfort on this one. It wasn't too bad before, but this will definitely be better. There we go. I'm just going to tighten it up with hands. The bumpers on this car was in a very sorry state when I got it. They were inside the car. They were really faded. They had cracks and the color was very depressive. And I actually considered just finding some black ones and put on. But I decided to just go ahead and try to plastic weld the cracks on the rear bumper using a plastic welder that I just acquired. It turned out pretty decent, I think. And then I started to clean up this bumper, giving it some bumper dressing stuff, shine stuff, which is the same stuff that I'm applying to this right now. And it just cleaned up really nicely. I'm not saying it's not looking like a new car, and I'm not really intending or trying to do that, but it suits the car really nicely, and I think it ended up looking like a used 35-year-old car that is still in decent condition. And I really am happy with the result, and I'm happy that I didn't decide to just go ahead and paint them black or something like that, because it just fits the car. I'm getting gray hairs in my beard as well, and I think it's not a shame. I think it's part of my history, and the same goes with the car. It's just, there's a scratch right here. It is what it is. It's a part of the story. I like it. As long as it doesn't feel completely neglected, and if it feels completely neglected, it has to be a decision that I take instead of just how it is. I know a lot of people think my cars are neglected, by the way, but I'm happy with them. Woo! That's good. At the front I'm gonna make an attempt, so I have no idea if this will turn out nice or if it's gonna be a waste of time. It was just an idea I got late at night, because this is really not that pretty. Don't know what could be done, but I haven't. It's supposed to have some kind of black coating, and what I like to do, or at least try, is to put heat wrap or heat shrink on this. But this is looking way better, at least for now. This is proper wheeler dealer stuff. So, say hello to my new daily. Can't wait to see how that feels. And the actual revival story of the BX is now done. It's revived, it's driving. It was on the absolute edge of a cliff, but it's safe now, and now it's a really, really nice car. I wouldn't be surprised if I could drive this for the next 5 years without big issues. With that low kilometer count on the on this car, it's just, it could be a good car for many, many years. I would probably not be able to keep it for long because I don't do that sort of things, but it is a really nice car. So that wraps up the revival story. Already now there are more videos than these I just showed, but the playlist is down below. I fixed an engine I'm not gonna say fixed, but I diagnosed a engine management issue, cleaned up all the connectors, and now it's gone. I also changed a very noisy hydraulic pump. It's now not that noisy anymore. I took this for a long drive in the last weekend together with my family, around 400 kilometers or something like that. I got a massive stone chip thingy in the windscreen right now, which has really made me sad because this car is pretty. But other than that, it's just, I'm really liking this car a lot. I haven't driven the Benz since I got this on number plates, which is actually a bit surprising. This revival is exactly what I really like. It reminded me a lot about the Skoda 105 I had quite a few years ago. A project that wasn't completely insane, but still had that kind of very rough diamond feel to it. Something that has been left for many, many years looking horrible, then fixing it up and revealing that it wasn't actually as bad as you could expect. That is something that I really enjoy, and I think I'm going to try to find more projects like this. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. Don't forget you can support me. There's a Patreon link down below. There's also the possibility of buying merchandise, t-shirts and so on. I even got a t-shirt with this one. And see you in the next one. Bye bye.